The stuff we worry about, recessions, pay cuts, the economy, truth is, we've no control over those things. But some of the things in our control, like our career and what we do about it, maybe we're not taking enough action around that. And that's about taking the first step. And I'm here today to talk to you about success, about what it takes to be successful. Now, over the last few years, I've worked with hundreds of companies and thousands of people asking that very question. What makes you successful and what doesn't? And my research and my conclusions have brought me to a very, very simple theory. That ultimately, when we look at success, we're looking at three types of people. We're looking at prisoners, we're looking at passengers, and we're looking at players. And the key thing that we want to find out today is which one are you and which one do you want to be? Now, it's really important for you to understand where you are. Because if you're a prisoner, you're probably feeling trapped. You may be wondering why other people are getting promotions or fast-tracking their careers and you're not. You probably feel out of control, and you certainly don't feel like you've options. If you're a passenger, life is quite comfortable. It's easy, but maybe too easy. Because when life is too easy, we're not growing, we're not challenging ourselves, we're not learning. And it's critically important that we don't fall into a comfort zone and wake up a few years later and see the whole world has passed us by. And finally, you might be looking at this as a player. Don't get complacent, because remember, to stay at the top of your game, you've got to keep learning and growing. But to help you to do that, what we're going to do is begin with the end in mind. When I begin with the end in mind, I'm able to create a plan because I know what I'm going after. A Harvard business study showed that 83% of people don't have any goals at all. So it's critically important to write down your goal. That's the first step. So what I want you to do right now with your pen and paper is pause this video, and I want you to write down where in your career do you want to be in 3 years' time. We've looked at, are you a passenger, a prisoner, a player? We've understood you got to begin with the end in mind and write down your goal. But then a lot of you know that anyway. So what's stopping you? And the truth is, what stops us taking the first step is our lack of motivation, is the lack of that will to push ourselves to do it. Because it may not seem that important. So we've got to make it important. So there's two questions that you fundamentally always have to ask yourself. Number one, what will it cost me if I don't make this change? And number two, what will I gain if I do make this change? So by actually doing that analysis, you very quickly build a picture of this is the future I don't want, and this is the future that I do want. If you look at the table in front of you, you'll see on the left-hand side the column which is about what will it cost me if I don't change? And on the right, what will I gain if I do change? So on the left, you know, what will it cost me if I don't change? Maybe I'll become irrelevant, invisible within the business I'm in. Maybe I'll be bypassed by my contemporaries, and I certainly won't feel like I'm fulfilling my potential. But what will I gain if I do change? Maybe wealth, exciting work, really good career opportunities, and to get to where I know I can in my career. So, as you've probably seen at this stage, the greatest enemy to your career is inertia. It's doing nothing. And you've already taken the first step today. You've written down something that's going to help you get closer to where you want in your career. And that's a great thing.